Hello and welcome to Community Cooking. I'm your host, Kirk Leins, and I have to say I'm very excited about our guest today because he is a friend of mine. With me is Dave Gieselman. Dave, how are you, man?
I'm good. I am very good.
What are we making for us today?
Today we're doing one of my specialties. It is a bacon crusted honey lacquered duck breast
Yum.
with celery root puree and carrot sous vide.
This is like, there's so many things here for me to be excited about. And I'll get to each one of them as we do this, but where would you like to start?
Let's see. Let's talk about, just because they're right here, let's talk about the duck breast.
Okay.
And talk about why we're cutting them up like that, and then we can talk about what's going on in front of you.
You got it.
So what we have is...
You've scored those. I can see that you scored the skin on that.
I've scored them. What that's going to do, it's going to allow the skin to render out and get really crispy.
What people don't realize about duck breast is there's a ton of fat and there's a ton of subcutaneous fat in that skin there.
Right.
So in order for it to get crispy, it really has to render out.
It has to come all the way out. You expose it to heat.
And if it doesn't, it's just going to be rubbery.
Right.
So in order to do that, we've got to sort of score it to let that out of there, right?
Exactly.
Okay, great. What's next?
Let's see. Then we have the celery root. I have some cooking back there. This is a celery root. It's literally the root of a celery.
And these are at the Torrance Farmers Market. This is a delicious vegetable that I think is really underused by the like household cook, right?
Right.
And I mean, how else can you describe its taste but like?
It's like celery.
Times 10.
Amazingly enough, it tastes exactly like celery. But it's really cool because it's very starchy. It's very fibrous. You have to cook it down a little bit.
Why don't you show, like, I mean, you got some cooking down. Show the preparation that you've done on that, because you've just basically cubed them up, right?
It's all I've done. The preparation on this is really easy. Basically, it's an ugly, knotty globe. And all you do is take all the ugly off of it, and
there you go.
got it. It's brilliant white
Pretty.
inside.
Yeah.
And you just take.
Right. I mean, no use trying to take a peeler to this or anything
No,
like that. Just
no.
go with your knife and, like you said, take the ugly off.
Just take all the ugly off.
And then when you get down to something like that, you can start cutting it up into cubes. You've got it in a pot of water in the back there. It's just straight water, right?
It's a little bit of water, a little bit of milk, and some salt.
Okay.
Just as though you would do anything else, cook any other vegetable. And the thing about this is, because it's a vegetable, it's not a starch. Depending on your time, you can cut this as small. If you need it to be ready in 5 minutes, you
Right.
slice it nice and thin, or nice big chunks. It
Right.
doesn't matter.
Nice.
The way it's going to cook is not going to change. The end result is not going to change.
And we're going to make a puree out of that.
We're going to make a puree out of it. It's going to look exactly like mashed potatoes.
So let me get this straight. So water, a little bit of milk, and a little bit of salt. Boiling, what are we talking about? Maybe 15 minutes?
15 minutes.
Till it softens up.
Right.
Okay, so that's going up. And then you said, okay, so the duck breast. Well, what should we start on? We've got that going. We want to talk about the carrots, maybe?
We're going to talk about the carrots. The carrots, just baby carrots. We're giving them a second life. We're cooking them in carrot juice.
Oh, I like that.
Then carrot juice is great. It's sweet. It's brilliantly orange. It's beautiful.
Well, it's like, if this is going to be intensely celery, why can't that be intensely carrot?
Exactly.
Right?
And
I like that.
We finish it. We glaze it with a reduction of carrot juice. We're gonna add a little bit of butter to give some flavor.
So now you've already started. Actually, you've pre-cooked off some of the carrots, some of the baby carrots in the
Right.
carrot juice. So that's
Exactly.
where we're at right now. Okay, what do we pick up with? Because all I know is I've got this delicious pan of bacon in front of me, and I need some direction because or else I'm gonna eat it.
Okay. Well, let's get rid of this
Get that out of your way.
first.
Okay.
And the bacon, what you want to do is we got it just rendered out. It doesn't need to be super crispy. It doesn't need to be anything. You just want the grease out of it, the oil out of it. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the bacon, the oil, everything. You're going to blend it up. That's going to be the cooking fat for our duck.
Nice.
So you're going to throw everything right into this chopper.
Okay. All right. Let me grab a little spoon here and just start kind of. That's going to go right into here, and then you're going to hit that with the immersion blender.
Exactly.
All right, and you said you wanted the bacon, the grease.
I want everything in that pan in that chopper.
If you want everything in that pan, then you're getting everything that's in this pan, because you know what? Everything that's in this pan is delicious.
There's nothing wrong with any of it.
Right on. So how long you been cooking for, Dave?
I've been cooking professionally since I was 9 years old. My mom had
Is that legal in this country?
My mom had a small catering company when I was growing up.
Okay.
Both my parents are amazing cooks. They both cooked professionally to put themselves through their respective educations.
So you never went to cooking school?
I did.
You did? Okay.
I went to cooking school in 2000 after I'd been cooking professionally for 10 years. The time and money and everything else just finally made itself available all at the same time.
Right.
And so I finally went to culinary school.
Okay.
And
All
did
right.
great. Now we're just going to spin this. Pull
You got a little, right on the side there.
There we go.
Yeah, you are pureeing bacon. Look
I
at
am
that.
pureeing bacon.
Nice. I mean,
This up just a little bit.
I can't think of anything else I'd rather have crusting my duck breast than bacon.
Right. And a lot of people, they'll get rid of the oil, they'll get rid of the fat, they'll get rid of the meat, and then they'll cook in that. I want all of it. I want to use
Every single one.
absolutely all of it.
Right on.
And we're going to come back to that.
So now that you've got that, look at that. Like,
Right.
beautiful, like bacon hash. All right.
Exactly.
Now what happens with it at this stage?
Okay, now we're going to set it aside.
All right.
We're just going to set it aside for a moment, and that's the perfect texture. Some people, you can, get a blender and you can blend it all the way smooth. You can then keep this and use it as a cooking fat for anything you like, because it's bacon and delicious.
It's just gonna solidify in the fridge, and then you
Right.
you throw it into a pan. It's gonna get back to this right here.
And it's safe because nothing grows in fat.
Right.
So you're not
Cover it up, you're good.
worried about any food safety issues. Okay. So yeah, cover it up and you're terrific.
Okay. What's next?
We're gonna puree this celery root back here.
Okay.
So we're gonna.
So our celery root's been cooking for now like 15 minutes, and that's what we've got back here on the stove. I can kill the heat on that,
Yeah.
I would imagine. Okay. Let's do that. It smells delicious. I mean, it's like you can really. It's like. You know that smell in the holidays when you're roasting a turkey and you've got stuffing and then the celery's in?
Right.
That's what that smells like. That's the celery aspect of that, and it's so good. And not a very expensive vegetable.
It's not.
It's really cost effective.
It's great, and this
Underused, that's why.
This whole menu. The reason I chose it is super easy. You're gonna.
May I?
Yeah, absolutely. You're just gonna ladle those in. We're gonna hang on to that liquid. You don't just drain the liquid straight away.
Okay.
First you ladle all that in, and then we're going to use that liquid.
Are these solids okay to go in there
They're
too?
just fine. That's
Okay.
just a little of the milk solids.
Okay.
Which are going to give it some flavor. The nice thing about this is that it's really light. It's
Yeah.
We're not going to add a bunch of cream. We're not going to add a bunch of butter. It doesn't need it. It's got a great little flavor to it.
So, very healthy, very healthy.
Indeed.
And something that can serve, what I like about like celery root puree is a couple things. First of all, it goes with a lot of different dishes. That's the first thing. The second thing is that it's the perfect base for stuff. You put a little dollop on a plate, you give it the smear. What doesn't adhere to that and look good and taste good on top of that?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And so, and this is something that even after you get it to the puree stage, will also hold in the fridge, no problem, right?
Exactly. The other thing about it, and you mentioned it earlier, is that at the household level, at the residential level, nobody's using this stuff.
Nobody.
I don't know what to do with that big ugly thing. I see
Scared
it
of
in the store.
Right.
I see it.
At the farmer's market, and then I'm like, what am I going to do, right?
What am I going to do with that? Do you eat it? Do you eat it raw? What do you do with that?
Okay,
ugly
I
thing?
think you're good there, my friend.
Okay,
But
so
here's what you do with it. You make
here's
celery
what
root
you do.
puree.
And which nobody has seen before. And you start by just pulsing it. And you'll see how we go. If you want to grab the ladle and add a little bit of that liquid.
You got it. And you want to kind of, you don't want to add a bunch of it right away, right? You just kind of want to see how this, because you don't want it too thin. But
No, you don't want it too thin.
We're gonna need a little
Give me
more.
one more. Give me one more just like that. Yep, go all the way. Go deep.
There you go.
And that's going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
You give it just maybe a minute and a half in the food processor.
So you really want to puree it?
You really want it smooth. You really want it all the way smooth. If I was doing this in a restaurant, if I was doing this for my catering company, I would then pass it through a fine screen.
Right.
Exactly. For cooking, for wowing your friends, you don't need to do that.
No.
It's gonna be great. And the greatest part.
Except if your friends are like people like us, and we're like, why didn't you pass that through a fine screen?
Right.
Nah, I'm just joking. That's delicious just how it is. Look at that.
Go in. Careful, it's hot.
Oh, man. Yeah. That's good.
Okay, so.
Good.
That's ready. If you want to hand me that wooden spoon.
Okay.
The Matford, yeah.
There you go.
It's, I guess, designed after a wooden spoon.
Right.
And we're just going to set this
Careful,
aside.
let me move this over so that that's making me nervous. There we go.
There we go. We're just going to set this aside because it's ready. It's done. That's it. The seasonings are nice on it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't need any more seasoning.
And now we set it aside until we're ready to go to the plate.
And we don't need our cooking liquid anymore.
We are done with the cooking liquid. That can now go.
Okay.
So we're just going to, if you want to
Yeah.
set that where we can
Actually, I'll put it right over here.
Now we're going to go into this duck.
Yay.
And here's the process on this. I love this. I love the processes of cooking. I love the actions involved.
Yeah, I do as well.
You know, and we're gonna bring this around so we have
let me get this.
access to it.
Yeah, I think that's something that cooks and chefs all sort of have in common. It's like you really kind of got to get into the geekiness of cooking.
Right.
Right? It's like, that, whoa, look at that, look what it just did.
Right.
That whole,
Exactly. I'm gonna move this to the other side so we can see what we're doing with it. And this needs to start just kind of warm. We're not...
The pan, that is.
The pan. We're not starting it in a real hot pan. We're kind of starting cold and going in, and we want a nice base of this bacon.
Like a nice thin layer of it,
Right.
evenly spread out.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
Nothing like crusting duck fat with pork fat.
Right. You want to be real careful about
Duck.
over seasoning this duck right at the beginning. You're about to drop it in bacon.
Yeah.
Easy on the salt. We're going to hit it with a little bit of pepper.
Right.
But that's about it because there's more than enough salt available to us in